My friends, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. Did you know, and I know you do, that this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest? Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're wondering, while people are wearing a mask just on their chin, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Caching by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Well, of course, it's time then to bring in our suspect, Spider Monkey. Some say he is the Kardashian of geocaching. I don't know what that means. And others say he will dare you to stump him with an Earth cache question. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hello, my friends. How are we all doing tonight?
We are.
What would
We
make
are
him a
doing-
Kardashian of geocaching?
I am not sure, but
I don't know.
I guess I am on Instagram and just like to talk about myself. I'm not sure. Is that what that means to be a Kardashian of geocaching?
I don't know. I know almost nothing about the Kardashians, and I'm okay with that.
You're probably good that way. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, probably be a happier, healthier person.
It's a good way to
Not
be.
knowing anything about them.
Well, I'm glad to be back with you guys. I did have a very, very enjoyable trip away. It's given me some fresh perspective and advice to share on this episode, so that'll be fun.
Oh, interesting. Fresh.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Tonight we are going to we're going to be talking about staying local, and we mean, we all know what's going on in our various regions and how that's affecting us. So, no big long road trips, no traveling to distant places, but there's lots of cool stuff that you can plan to do, especially around geocaching and geolocation related gaming in your very own, let's say, region. But we'll dig into that a little bit more a little
Could we
later.
say backyard?
You could say backyard, and some people do actually have a geocache in their backyard, but most people, they've got to go a little further than their backyard. But, we'll dig into that.
Backyard.
We'll dig into that. But, this is also the point in the show where we like to have a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. And hey, here's something I bet you didn't know. Landsharks.ca has added the ability to leave product reviews. And once a month, Landsharks will draw for one $25 gift certificate from all the customers who left reviews. That seems like a pretty good deal to me.
What? You're saying if I leave a review, I have a chance of winning $25 just
I
for
mean,
that?
it's not an iPhone, but
Well, not everybody can win an iPhone.
well, we'll talk about that a little later too. But hey, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cachingw.com website. And just go do that.
I'm not getting an iPhone.
You may not be winning an iPhone, but there's a chance you're going to win some fabulous prizes.
Oh, okay.
There you go. $25 gift certificate.
That's better than an iPhone.
Well, it's better than a scam iPhone. Yes.
Oh boy. So should we talk about this?
Why don't we jump into it right now before we do the glow?
So, this is highly irregular. I'll let you know. I'm not one to break off of our script, but we brought it up. It's $25, but it's better than a Laurel and Hardy handshake.
I'm not familiar with that expression.
Nope. Anyway, today, maybe yesterday, in the geocaching message center, some nefarious people posted nefarious messages to a bunch of nefarious cachers.
Well, I don't know if it was at least one nefarious cacher.
So, the spammers are hot on the message center, so much so that geocaching.com shut down the message center for a period of time to correct it. Now, I have to know if anybody in the chat received messages from spammers, because our very own Wits End, he's a victim, and you can help him out for less than the price of a latte a day. You can
Yeah.
help
For a
him.
$25 gift certificate to Land Sharks, you can
Oh,
help
there
out
you
with
go.
Sam.
My email inbox lit up this morning, and I thought, ooh, I actually have friends. But no, they just wanted to give me iPhone, complain about it, added to the chat that who started. It was all good. I don't know. It didn't really bother me. I looked at it, but yeah, scam, delete, move on. But apparently, some people got quite irate.
Well, I'm kind of curious how wide the circle is. Like, I didn't receive any. Chris, you didn't?
No. In fact, I'm going to go look again because, now I feel left out.
But Jim, you did, and they
Uh,
came through on the message center and, of course, through to your email.
Yeah, well, and that's a setting you can set as a geocaching user, is that messages sent to the message center get forwarded to your email, because I don't usually look at the message center on a regular basis, and I want to know if somebody tried to reach me there, so I have it forwarded to my email. But
There you go.
No, I didn't get any. Let's see.
well, I'll build a rule that forwards all iPhone offers
Oh, would
to
you?
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So most of the folks in the chat are saying that they,
A lot of people
Genius
did, yeah.
did, but most people are saying they did not.
Nope, I guess we're not one of the popular kids. I didn't receive them.
Hmm.
Didn't get hit by the spammers for some reason. I guess I'm not nefarious enough.
There you go.
That's a good
Boomer
discussion.
365 none here.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Got
finding
one
your
there.
way.
Yes. Now that was interesting. Just finding our way. Says I got one, and then about 30 people that responded to it.
Yeah, that seemed to be the way it worked, is that whatever loophole bug the spammers found, it presented as a group message. So even though the message thread in my message center had one cacher name that I wasn't familiar with, the responses came from many, many different cachers, most of which were saying, who added me to this thread? Take me off.
So not Seebeck Tribe. Terrible T's got a lot of spam this
Yeah.
morning. No. All quiet.
I got lots.
Didn't get
Well-
spam, but got legitimate message from some new geocachers this evening. Nice.
I'm going to say that on average, everybody got a couple, because I had enough to spread around.
Oh.
So
GSM times 2 didn't get an iPhone or last week's sex solicitations. If you want to, we could send you some of our extra spam, GSM times 2, if that's what you're looking for. So
if you're really that bored.
a little lonely, well, no, I'm not going there.
Is it a new service for patrons? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, patrons only. Yeah. Coon and Bud, not a good idea for a spammer. Geocachers know where to hide a body.
Ah, nice one, Kuhn and Bud. I like that. That's good. All right.
So anyway, that kind of bubbled up today's big geocaching news. I mean, just, something different. And we're not, as geocachers, we're not used to that, because actually, when you think about it, the geocaching message center has been a pretty good walled garden. Only geocachers have used it. Rarely have I gotten a message that, somebody was they weren't trying to reach me. They were trying to do something else. It's worked quite well. So
yeah, to the point that when I got the message, I went to the message center and I saw that I could look up the user's profile. I could hide the user. I think I could block, but there was no message or no button there, no built-in feature to report the message to geocaching.com. And I bet something like that comes out pretty soon.
I bet that's a new feature coming really soon. Yeah.
now, am I right in saying you can block a user?
I think that was one of the options. Yeah.
And I'm sure there are people that for some reason don't get along and carry it right into the geocaching message center. But
Right.
I think for the most people, for the most part, geocaching people are pretty reasonable with that kind of stuff. So it's all pretty good. Yeah. What else have we got? Well, I guess it's glow time, hey?
Boomer says, I got an iPhone as well as an FTF prize.
Oh, congratulations.
I don't think so. Okay, so wit's end.
Yes.
I know we went completely off the rails there. Are you able to pick back up?
Give it my best shot.
Okay.
You want to read your intro, or should
Oh,
I just
yeah, I
move
should
into
do
it?
that. shouldn't I?
That was kind of what I
We
was
all
waiting
just
for,
wait
because
quietly and patient.
speaking of rails and scripts and protocols, that's you always read that before I glow. So this is the pre-glow moment. Take it away.
It's all yours, Chris. It's all about you.
It's time for the glow. That's the geocaching log of the week. Whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You know, you can send us an email, a geocaching message center message, eventually, or a field recording. Email that to feedback@cachingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC or use the voicemail tool right there on the website. All these different ways. We're not stopping you from any way to contact us. And let us know how you glow. In fact, I got some just this week, so thank you.
All right.
We appreciate you.
Looking forward to seeing those. Tonight was a log by, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it MZA Brisk?
Sure.
Ms. Brisk?
Ms. Zabrisk?
MZ Brisk? Or maybe it's Misa Brisk. Anyway, this user found traditional cache St. Urho's Day 2020. That's GC8MD3X. And the log says, it's a good thing it's getting warmer out there. The longer and sunnier days have my giant pet grasshopper Bessie getting a bit restless. When I told her that we would be going out to get a cache, she leapt for joy, literally. I did not want to tell her which cache we were going to or what the cache commemorated. We started off about a 5-mile romp between our house and Ground Zero. Stopped at a park so she could eat some grass and I could get the kink out of my back. Do you know just how hard it is to ride a giant grasshopper? You have to lean into the jump and anticipate the landing so you can adjust. Well, she was a little rusty and so was I, so these little snack breaks for her were back breaks for me. Anywho, we got to the fairgrounds and there was a sheriff's deputy idling in the grass trying to scare up some new revenue from those who were taking some liberties with the speed limit. You should have seen the look on his face when Bessie landed not more than 4 feet from his car door. He spilled his coffee all over his nice uniform and I think he dropped his radar gun. I just waved and we kept going. Since we weren't impeding traffic, I don't think there was anything he could really do from a legal perspective, and I don't think it's jaywalking if you jump over the entire street. We get there and Bessie mistimes her landing, slamming right into the pine tree. The idea within 30 feet takes a new meaning when you're riding a large insect with rusty landing skills. I think I have pine needles in places where God never meant them to be. On the plus side, her antics knocked the cache right out of its hiding spot. When your hint said it was too easy, you weren't kidding. Bessie was only mildly interested in the container camo, but I've come to expect a fantastically themed package from this CO for this event. I was not disappointed. I signed the log, got another kink out of my back, and headed home. Thanks for the fun. And then there's a sign-off that I could mangle. Eine circa meine Talta Hiltin. Let's see.
That's
Obviously, that says
pretty
grasshopper,
convincing.
grasshopper, get me out of here.
Yeah, that is the translation. But
Oh,
Yeah, someone was having fun with their storytelling.
exactly.
Well,
My
that-
hand says
that didn't really
interesting
happen?
bit of creative writing there.
Indeed. I'm curious what St. Urho's Day is. Maybe there's some sort of grasshopper.
Oh,
I don't know. The research
Connection.
department may just throw that in the chat sometime.
yeah.
We'll see.
Wet Coaster says if you send in a log that says TFTC for the glow, Wits End will send you all his spam.
There you go.
Ah, St. Urho is an unusual character. According to the legend, he chased the grasshoppers out of Finland, shouting at them. Guess what he shouted?
Yeah, eine circa, eine Manta Hiltin.
Exactly.
And it kind of sounded like.
No, that would have been Swedish.
Okay.
Not.
That's the Swedish chef.
It's all Greek to me.
Oh, that one tickled me. That was a good one.
Oh, too funny. All right. Well, folks, if you have some thoughts to add about caching local, which is going to be our topic tonight, make sure you use #local in the chat to add to tonight's show. If you have some thoughts that maybe aren't on the exact topic of the show, but just things you'd love to chat about, use hashtag FTAS, FTAS. That's for the after show. And hey, we'll bring
Somebody
that
has
up.
already used that.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's exciting.
I think there's a race to see who can use hashtag FTAS first.
Oh, is that a new game? Because once we say it, it's going to happen pretty early in next show.
Yeah.
We were talking in the pre-show that maybe this is also hashtag low-cal, as in low calorie, which is healthy for you.
There you go.
Folks, I don't know if you know it or not, but here in the Northwest, in Washington State in particular, most of the Washington State parks are open again. None of the facilities are open, such as bathrooms or lodges or meeting rooms, but the parks themselves are open for the most part. Make sure you check. Some of the smaller parks aren't open because it's just too difficult to social distance. So check what's open. There are many state-managed land destinations that are open for day use and camping. Other local, tribal, and federal land may still be closed. Stay local. This will reduce the need for stops along the way of these longer trips, and limit the number in your group to 5 unless members of the same household. And my script is moving on me, and it's going up and down, and I'm having trouble reading. Come prepared, because visitors may find reduced or limited restroom services as staff begin the process to reopen facilities at wildlife areas and water access sites. Read that as beaches. The beaches are open.
Okay. I was thinking water access, like boat ramps. What's
Yes.
a water access site?
Boat ramps are one of them they talk about in a little bit here.
Okay.
Ramses.
Yeah.
You're advised to bring your own soap, water, hand sanitizer, toilet paper, as well as a mask or bandana to cover your nose and mouth.
Hey, Jim, I think that was an Egyptian pharaoh. Ramses.
Ramses, yeah.
Sorry,
Aren't those-
Ramses, go on.
Ramses.
Aren't those the little custard cups you
Oh,
get your dishes that you don't know what to do with?
that's what it is.
You look at those and go, what am I supposed to do with these things? Anyway, when you get there and the camping is open, and so are a majority of the cabins and yurts. Avoid crowds. Be prepared to go somewhere else or come back at another time if your destination looks crowded. That's a great thing to have prepared and ready to go, right? Well, we drove all this way. We're just going to do it anyway. That may not be the best idea.
Yeah.
Practice physical distancing. Keep 6 feet, or should we say 2 meters, between you and those outside of your immediate household. Launch one boat at a time to give others the space to launch safely.
Is that
There
using
you
a
go.
trebuchet or?
That's the best way to launch a boat, Jim.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Light it on fire and release the trebuchet.
It's silly English niggas.
Roxanne in the chat says ramekins, which I had to Google. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yes, that's exactly it.
There you go.
You can use the ramekins for more hashtag podcast baking.
There's my fact that I learned today. I've never heard of a ramekin before.
Yes, a ramekin.
There you go.
They're nice for little berry tarts and such. I don't know. Maybe a cobbler. I don't. What do I know? You guys.
I think we need to get some podcast baking experts on to tell us.
Yeah, there you
more.
go. The custard
And-
cups are great for ketchup to dip your chicken fingers in.
There you go, Start Casher.
And we're still saying the bakers need to send some samples to the hosts.
They kind of really do.
You know, we can't prove that you're baking anything,
It's true.
and yet we have an entire hashtag right here, podcast baking, but we don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying.
Samples or didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, creme brulee goes in there.
There you go.
Okay. Back to where I was in the state parks. Remember, and this is always true. Pack in, pack out what you pack in. Take any garbage with you, including disposable gloves and masks.
Yes, that rule applies all the time, everywhere. Pack out what you pack in. Like
Would
that's
apply to Capitol Hill, but never mind.
Carlos says, I use grocery store bathrooms when I'm city caching.
they're probably pretty clean generally.
Yeah. GSM times 2. Thanks for the tip. I usually use Starbucks, but they're closing restrooms in my area.
Ah, yeah.
So he said, me too. That's why I've changed to grocery stores, just in case you needed that tip.
There you go. So yeah, I would say very similar advice up here in British Columbia to what you were just reading for Washington State. We are moving into what we call phase 3 of the whole COVID situation, and really what that means is you can start to, following similar rules, start to travel around the province. And hey, from a geocaching perspective, there's some great places to go check out in your state or your province or your county even. You don't even necessarily need to go that far to find some great geocaching opportunities. And it's, maybe it's a chance to try something you haven't tried before when it comes to geocaching. Maybe you've kind of always shunned the where I goes or the multis because they just take too long. Well, now's the time to maybe give them a try.
Exactly. I talked to, I'm going to bring it up. I know we said we weren't. A couple of cachers in the area have tried waymarking. Something that seems to be, is the term COVID friendly appropriate? Or does that mean it attracts COVID?
I have no idea.
We're going to use the term, and on this podcast, it means things you can do without contracting COVID.
Okay, there you go. Because a lot of it you don't even touch. You just go up there, you might be able to do it from the car, so you never have to get out. So I'm considering that, lockdown friendly geolocation activities.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there you go. And another version of the same kind of thing, the brand new part of the game is Adventure Labs. They're popping up like I don't know.
Nobody's business.
Like nobody's business. I think I used the expression the other day. They're being handed out like candy getting handed out of a panel van. So it's you're getting lots and lots of them lately. And the good news is that people are getting better and better at putting them out. So there's some really interesting ones to do. It's something you don't always think about. I think more of us are thinking about it now because it's just more front of mind as we're more aware that they're happening. But of course, they're not on your geocaching app or the website. So you have to actually install and run the Adventure Lab app. But yeah, you might be surprised at how many are in your area, especially if you live in British Columbia on Vancouver Island, in the southwest corner of British Columbia. We've got tons of them. I know around Seattle, greater Seattle area, there's tons of them. So, in the Northwest, we've got lots of Adventure Labs to go check out. And it's another way, a COVID-friendly way to play the game and a lot of fun.
Carlos says, I have a geo bro, has COVID-19 concerns. So I directed him to Adventure Lab caches. Mine is close to being published. So there you go.
Awesome.
And GSM times 2 didn't like your analogy. And here at Caching in the Northwest, we do not suggest you take candy from a panel van.
Nor do we suggest you hand out candy from a panel van.
See, that's your own choice.
By the way, I have quarantine term.
Say that again. You broke up.
I have suggested quarantine friendly as
Quarantine
a term.
friendly. I like that better.
There you go.
Yeah, here comes the disclaimer.
Speaking of other games, Coon and Bud says, I munsey more now. To be honest, lots of virtuals. Yep, another great way to enjoy the game. Yeah, all kinds of great stuff you can do.
Keith says, hashtag local. Got me a fresh crop of them Adventure Labs. Just got one in Maple Ridge yesterday. I'll be working on mine soon.
Excellent. Looking forward to it, Keats.
Yeah, Wet Coaster says I've got 10 Adventure Labs since I got back in BC.
Or 2 in binary.
Wow. That's
Nice.
a lot. Yeah, I know. It's funny. I didn't realize they were going to give out a second round of Adventure Labs and that there was going to be so many going out. And I had just finished writing my book and submitted it for publishing. And like a week later, all of a sudden they start popping out. I'm like, oh, man. But I mean, when you write a book about geocaching, it's, there's going to be, things are going to change, right? So you just roll
now
with
you're
it.
ready for your second edition.
Exactly. That was pretty funny though. It's like, oh man, I thought I did such a good job.
As soon as you publish it, it's out of date.
And any book on any topic, really, but
Exactly.
except for history. You write a book on history, it's not out of date.
Yeah, it could be the first draft of history.
Yeah, it could revisionist history. Okay, fair enough. All right.
Carlos wants to know, are Where I Goes quarantine friendly? Well, yes and no. They are for the most part until you actually go find the cache container, and then it's questionable, right?
Well, you know what? I mean, this is the thing, is that if you are concerned about that aspect of quarantine, social distancing, COVID-19 precautions, which is, it's reasonable if you're concerned about that, take a mask, take some hand sani and some wipes and
Gloves.
And gloves. And, it's not that hard to be safe. If you have your own stamp or, your own pen and you want to just, stamps work really well then, right? For stamping a log, and you hardly have to touch anything. And except for nanos. Nanos are probably the least quarantine friendly cache container.
You got to get your fingers all over those things.
Just
Stretch them out, roll them back up.
So avoid nanos. There you go. If you're really worried about it, avoid nanos. Go for ammo cans in the woods that have only been found once a year.
If you're a Cachely user, and I'm only saying this because I know Cachely better than I know any other geocaching app, you can set a filter for caches that haven't been found for a period of time. You could put it to 2 weeks, 4 weeks, what have you. And that gives you that COVID-friendly, quarantine-friendly caching experience.
Yep. Hey, can you bring up Seebeck Tribe's comment?
I would love to. Is it this one?
That one. So again, talking about COVID-friendly caching or quarantine-friendly caching. She says, #local. While traveling to California and back, we focused on virtual caches and earth caches mostly. And of course, yeah, again, earth cache is another great way where generally, you're not touching a container. You may need to touch a rock surface or something if you're making observations, but generally most observations for earth caches, you don't need to touch anything. So it's a great option.
GSM times 2 says you can do the same thing with GeoGo.
There you go.
There you go. Just Finding Our Way says, yes, Where I Goes are COVID-19 friendly because everyone else ignores them.
There you go.
Well, now's the time to go and find your Where I Goes.
Well, and your Cachely filter is great, and GeoGo filters, that kind of thing, but Dormore does point out that not logged online is not the same as not found.
Technically true.
Oh, that's a really good point, Dormore.
So
you're right.
Just saying.
But for the most part,
yeah,
it's gonna increase your odds. Let's put it that way. But that's a very valid point.
Renwood stamps or #WestAmp.
WestAmp. West. I thought, what's funny is I realize now that says we stamp. When I first saw the hashtag come up, I was like, WestAmp. What is that? Geocaching on the mind. Looking for West 122. All right, where am I going from there?
Let's see. Coon and Bud says, yes, good point, Chris. You have the time of separation. All safe now with time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bring up Cliffs. CRS98. Yeah. Says most experts believe the main method of transmission of COVID-19 is via airborne transmission. It's who you cache or meet that is a bigger issue. And I none of us are doctors, but we all play one on a podcast. And I think we'd all agree in general terms, with that statement, seems to be pretty accurately what we've learned. I might have mentioned it before on the podcast. I can't recall, but I listened to an excellent episode of Stuff You Should Know a couple of months ago in March, when they broke down the stuff you should know about COVID-19. And one of the things they discussed was how it lives on surfaces. And there was actually quite a bit of discussion, ironically, about how short a lifespan the virus has on plastic surfaces. So, there you go.
And now they're finding sunlight, which caches typically don't see sunlight, but they're finding sunlight's helping to kill it as well. So
there you go.
Okay. If we're doctors, then Carlos is Dr. McDreamy.
Well, if you got to choose one, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So we have another story, speaking of health.
Yes.
This one comes from the Journal of Internet Research.
Ooh, that sounds very official.
Doesn't it, though? And then at the same time, you hear that and you go, well, that can't be any good. I mean, I've been on a lot of forums like Reddit and that. There's nothing good there. But this is actually a medical journal. And they did a study to use geocaching to promote active aging, a qualitative study. So the whole idea was, over the past few years, the development of technology supporting active aging has been increasing. Among the activities that promote physical exercise by using technologies is geocaching. So the study aims to investigate the effectiveness of activities combining geocaching and self-tracking technologies to promote active aging, evaluate the usability of technologies, and explore the ways in which technologies have been integrated. So here's what they did.
That's a mouthful.
Well, it's a
Did
medical.
anybody follow what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't understand the term promote active aging, because aren't we all actively aging right now?
Well, I guess there's
Some of us
passive
more
aging.
than others.
Yeah. What you want to avoid is just not aging at all.
Oh, yeah. So you'll understand here in a moment when you learn the method. Okay. A group of individuals aged 65 and older attended a senior center managed by a social cooperative that was involved in the study. Some of them created the geocaching content. Others split into two teams and participated in a game. Each participant was given a pedometer bracelet and the geocaching app. So there's your tracking technology using the pedometer bracelet. The steps taken by the individual participants, along with the number of caches found by each group, translated into team scores. Now, as we go along, the study is trying to be very technical and such, but there's some funny things coming up in this next part that I found interesting. The main results of the study were as follows. 1, activities in favor of active aging that involve the use of new technologies can foster the participation of elderly people. In particular, adding gamification to self-tracking can be a valid strategy to promote physical exercise among the elderly. Right? Did I lose you guys?
No, I got you.
Okay.
Goes along with yelling at kids to get off your lawn. I'm good.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But adding that gamification, hey, we're going to do this as a team to score points. That is, even among the elderly, 65 and older, that's still an important factor. For this to happen, involvement of the older people firsthand is crucial, and there must be a focus on active involvement and empowerment. And then here's the one that I found hilarious. The third point in these results is the mediation of conflicts and competition that arises from the gamification that could only take place because of the strong support of the organization in the form of social workers.
Is that what we're calling reviewers now?
So not only did they track them, but yeah, they had to mediate conflicts because you didn't get those points. You couldn't have gone that far. I couldn't have gone that far.
Well, I'm thinking, have you met many geocachers?
No.
Have you been on the forums?
Oh, B Pendragon says humans like to compete. Not surprised.
Exactly. Good summary.
So, oh, I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
So
This is all good for the elderly. They're getting out, they're getting exercise, they're engaging in all these what do they call it? Aging actively. It's all good. It's all good, except that they started fighting with each other. The whole experiment was going so well until they all killed each other.
and when we found that negative for their overall health.
Yeah. It was really good to a point.
Yeah, went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know if this was in Canada. The conclusions show that promoting active aging through technology requires more effort than simply using these tools. It requires a wider process that involves yada yada. We won't go into it, but so it's more than just here's the pedometer and the geocaching app. Go find something and become healthy.
Yeah, I think part of what they're getting at is they talked about an organizational network of people and technologies together, and that's really a large part of what geocaching is the social aspect of it as well. Which keeping that social connection is an important part of keeping your mental health. Whether you're looking at it for keeping your mental health as you age or just in general, right? It's important. So,
well, of course, getting out and moving in nature is beneficial. Nobody's going to argue that. And adding the new steps of learning the geocaching app, that opening up new brain circuits is always positive. And I find geocaching, as you're out walking, it gives you something to focus on, allows your mind to be active because you're always looking for that spot.
Yeah.
Or you're anticipating where it's going to be. So keeping your mind active with new and different things is very good for, I don't know if I want to use the term active aging, but for aging.
There you go. So speaking of settling disputes between geocachers and trying to keep the game from resulting in crimes, the Abbotsford Police Department has begun a summer geocaching event that started on Canada Day. That would have been yesterday for those not familiar.
Happy Canada Day, folks.
Thank you. July 1st is Canada Day, just like July 4th is America Day coming
Independence Day, yeah.
Independence Day. There was a movie about it.
I know what it's called. It's just fun to tease you about it.
I know.
We have Canada Day. You should have America Day.
We can't remember big words. We just call it the 4th of July.
I was going to say, we call ours Canada Day. You should just call yours America Day. Just keeps things everything.
Do you ever refer to it as the 1st of July?
No, everybody calls it Canada Day.
But you are Americans and Mexican. We're
all North Americans. That's true. USA Day. That's even easier.
There you go. Use a day.
Use a day.
And we're back to Jar Jar somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Anyways, so the Abbotsford Police Department, starting on Canada Day, they have an event that's going to, well, it's not an event in geocaching terms, but this promotion they're doing is going to run until October 1st. And it invites not just residents, but anybody who's visiting the city of Abbotsford, which is the host city of GeoWoodstock, August 2021. So come on over, check out Abbotsford before GeoWoodstock if you are, living somewhere where you are allowed to go to Abbotsford. Download the geocaching app off of geocaching.com and create an account and search for City of Abbotsford. You can then use the app to navigate to the hidden APD caches. The caches will only be found on public property. They're not going to be placed in a manner that damages or harms the environment or property. I think we all know those are the rules, the guidelines. They say the app is a great way to discover Abbotsford parks, trails, and landmarks while searching for the hidden treasures. I think we understand that part of the game. I'm not going to go into the bit where they explain what geocaching is, but they do say once a cache is found, sign the logbook, record your find online, and trade knickknacks before returning the cache to its hidden spot. Now, I am also somehow I have heard that there's something going on with those where there's some sort of extra prize. Now, it's not a geocoin, but there's some sort of prize or trinkets you can get from the caches.
I'm pretty sure it's a $25 Land Sharks gift card. Those are just being everywhere right now.
Yeah, Chat Lackey's letting me know here.
It's not.
The information's coming in hot off the presses from the chat. They're giving out coins, but they're not geocoins. There you go. So there you go. There's the scoop from our chat lackey. So, there's something else fun to do for a few months in Abbotsford as we warm up for GeoWoodstock. Now, they said that this thing is only running till October 1st. Are they, chat lackey, do you know, are they archiving the caches after October 1st? Is that like those spaces free up after that, or he's no idea?
While you're waiting, Kunenbud says, should we call the Abbotsford Bomb Squad for hints?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Don't do that. No, don't do that. And this is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Abbotsford Police Department. Chat like
you know what they're giving out in caches? An iPhone.
Oh, maybe they were the ones.
The opportunity to win a free iPhone.
That's what I just finding out what he said. I heard it was an iPhone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, Trexer said, I was surprised to see a cache series by the Abbey PD. That's for sure.
Yes, many of us were, for sure.
Abby someone.
Abby Normal.
Yes, I'm almost sure that was the name.
Yes. Keats94 is glad to see the police departments getting involved in geocaching.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, on the front end instead of
on the
blowing them up after the fact.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Starcasher wants to know: will Canada allow U.S. folks in?
No, not yet.
Never again.
Probably true.
Not for a while.
I'm predicting 2024.
Hey, no, 2021. You got to be able to come up here for GeoWoodstock.
Well, I can hope for that, but I'm not expecting it until 2024.
Carlos said,
"You're bad for my event marketing, Jim."
Carlos says, in my area of Washington State, there's the utility company, Puget Sound Energy. They have an account, and they have dozens of local geocaches to be found.
Yeah, I found a few on Whidbey Island.
Yeah, on their own property, which, the power company owns a good chunk of land.
They do.
So, yeah, that's very cool.
It would be great if we could get up there.
Yes. Yeah, I know. So probably that piece of news is really only applicable for folks in British Columbia, but we thought it was interesting, and it's part of the Northwest.
Essential travel only at this point.
Yeah. Well, some may.
I'm sorry. The smart couple says, how many PD caches? Do we know how many caches are in this?
I think
3 hymns in a row said 6.
6. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, 6. It's the next one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go. Everybody's helping everybody out in the chat. Love it.
You guys are way ahead of it. Even before I know what I'm doing.
So did we get to all the hashtag local comments?
Let's see. I think Carlos says hashtag local geocaching is healthy for you. Of course.
There you go. Agreed. Yeah.
Starcacher start off with hashtag loco. Oops, I misunderstood. No, that's every week. You could use
that. That applies to, yeah.
Keats had a good one. Hashtag local. I think most listeners drive cars, but wearing a mask on public transit when transit caching is highly recommended. Yes. Absolutely. I think it's almost mandatory to wear a mask in public transit.
Yes. And, I'm going to tell people that wearing a mask is protecting them. It's not necessarily protecting you, right?
It's,
so
the same as wearing pants.
Yes, I love that
analogy. Protects them.
Very good analogy. Just simply talking, spittle is released, and let alone coughing or sneezing. So the mask doesn't stop all of it, but it stops a majority of it. So down to 3% is what they're saying.
Wow, there you go. Renwood Renwad right off the start made a comment saying it's great to see the original three keeping it local. So I think that's a comment of the three of us back together again, podcasting here, and yeah, definitely keeping it local up in the Northwest.
Ouch. Loco is redundant. Thank you, Evan. Kevin adds that he likes finding the Puget Sound caches.
Yes.
Some of them are done quite well.
There's some really neat locations. I don't think I've found too many that outside of Whidbey Island. Whidbey Island is mostly where I've found them, but those ones have all been interesting locations. So yeah, it's definitely a great idea. So yeah, caching local. Look for things like that where, maybe you make your goal. I'm going to travel around Washington State or travel around the Puget Sound, which is even smaller than Washington State. And I'm going to find all those Puget Sound energy caches. That's
Exactly.
that's another great option or opportunity. If you're living up here in British Columbia, if you haven't done the City of Richmond Geo Tour, there's one to do. And hey, here's a really good suggestion. If you want to get way off the beaten track, you want to go where there's very few people, try the Gold Country Geo Tour this summer. If you're in British Columbia, that's a fantastic area to go. You're going to be running into fewer people there. So there you go.
There you go. Keith says in Toronto, it's mandatory, referring to face masks. And that's also true in Washington State.
I thought it was in BC for transit, but maybe it's not mandatory. It's just, everybody gives you a really dirty look if you don't.
Well, in Washington State, if you enter a business, you're supposed to be wearing a mask.
It's not a bad idea considering, the numbers are still popping along there.
Roxanne wants to know, do mustaches count as face coverings?
No. Not even a full lush one like Jim's.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a face covering as it is.
Hey, less of my face you can see, the better off you are.
Face for radio.
That's right.
Fun stuff. Well, guys, what do you think? We getting about time for wrapping things up and heading to the after show?
Yeah. Threeham says there's nothing mandatory in BC. That's how Bonnie Henry likes it.
There you go. Well, for nothing mandatory, we're all doing a pretty good job up here. So keep it up, guys.
I don't know who Bonnie Henry is.
She's our chief medical officer for the province.
Ah, okay.
She's a very popular celebrity now who no one had ever heard of before COVID. Now everybody in British Columbia knows her name.
That's funny. Yeah, there's certain people I never knew who they were before, and you see them everywhere. They're getting their 15 minutes of fame, and well, we won't hear from them until the next pandemic.
Well, I wouldn't consider it 15 minutes of fame, but if they're doing a good job, then we should know their name and they should be thanked for doing an amazing job like Bonnie Henry is. And yeah, as Boomer says, she is a superstar. She has been the voice of calm and reason throughout all of this in British Columbia. And I like Chris Brew's idea. Get a beer named after them.
There you go.
That's what we should do. I'd be surprised if there isn't already a Bonnie Henry ale available somewhere in British Columbia. I'm sure there's a good beer related pun that you can make with that.
It's probably, triple filtered.
Yes.
Okay. So, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope to be able to see you again in person, but we're here every Thursday night, whether you like it or not. We hope you like it because we're going to be here.
When you feel the internet grinding to a halt, it's Thursday night.
That's right.
At 9 p.m. Yep. Well, yes, we hope you enjoyed it. And of course, this is where we also want to take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember that they do ship orders online daily. We want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Landsharks with a Z, JP's Geo Designs, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cashingnw.com, a website.
You know, like Wymax has.
LG 9000.
Cashly,
T. Sayer.
Keats 94.
Kennel Barb,
Genies.
B. Pendragon.
On a Boat,
Fairwood West.
Seebeck Tribe.
Kid Vegas 19,
Wino Seattle.
Broncos fan for life.
Nerve,
Camp Clan.
Trexer 0.
The Geo Travelers,
Kev MacD.
Subway Mark.
Al O'Robrick,
And Teus.
Boomer 365.
Highlands Guy,
GeoNav Pros.
Logobook.
Team Noltex,
Wet Coaster.
Kitty Quest.
Dune Buddy,
Green Words.
CRS 98.
MC3 Cats,
Acker Doc.
Tick Magnet.
GSM times 2,
Billy Robson.
Doramore.
Sprouter,
And Segehove.
All right.
and yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada. You know how to find us, right?
Yeah. I don't know who put that in the show notes, but it says
One of you
yada, yada,
there.
yada.
One of you down there. There you go.
Yeah.
So
You may be able to use the geocaching messenger to get a hold of us or not.
Or
offer
offer us a free iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's coming up a little bit here. Don't steal my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, folks, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. You can call 253-693-TFTC, leave us a comment, ask us a question, or send us a free iPhone any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support, we thank you. It keeps the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Give us a thumbs up or a much coveted review. The show is produced by Chris Umpenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2020 by Chris Umpenauer. And folks, I urge you, I implore you, really, if you want to, you can. Stay tuned for
The After Show.
If I have to, I guess.
as long as you keep your stick on the ice.
Yep. If the girls don't find you handsome, at least they'll find you handy.
That's right.
All right. Well, first FATAS out of the gate here is from Brylang, who reached his 14,000 finds milestone on Tuesday. So congrats, Brylang.
How do you do that? You get like to 13,900 and then just start watching?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the first 13,900 are easy.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
I hear.
The hard work comes after that.
Yeah.
Speaking
Let's
of
see.
milestones.
Well, there's more milestones.
Mhm.
Seebeck Tribe says I reached my 3,200th cache while getting a co-FTF on a lab cache in Newport, Oregon, while traveling back from a trip down to California.
That's awesome. That's like a double whammy. Fantastic.
Well,
Congrats.
A
Seebeck Tribe.
milestone and an FTF. Yeah.
I know. That's awesome. Congrats.
Let's see. Carlos says, do you guys have any tips on removing stickers from containers? Say Costco-sized salsa. Ooh, salsa. I like salsa.
That's a very specific generic type of container.
Well, if you had to do one, what would you guys do? I would run it through the dishwasher first.
Yeah, I'd let it sit in the sink full of hot water, but yeah, everybody's got different techniques. My concern about putting in the dishwasher is if it does come off, it's going to gunk up down on the bottom of the dishwasher, maybe.
Yeah, that makes a big sticky mess.
But yeah, hot water of some sort.
Bryling says probably not a good idea to use containers that had food in.
That is one of the guidelines.
Yeah.
Try to avoid doing that. I mean,
Oh,
I've never ever. Oh, there you go. Goop Gone works
Gone
for
works
Jim
too.
Stark. I've never ever found a peanut butter container out in the wild. So
Quads in the Mud is eating salsa right now. Nothing else, just spoonfuls of salsa.
That sounds delicious.
How about orange oil?
Oh, that's a good idea. Now, does that actually remove the label, or does that just take care of the stickiness once the label's off?
Probably
I'm
a little of
curious.
both. Wet coat. Oops. Where is it? There it is. Wet Coaster says, I'd get the salsa out of it first. So that's what Quads in the Mud is doing.
Yeah, there you go. Teamwork.
Yeah, salsa doesn't last long in my house.
Dora Moore says alcohol works, but I'm saving mine for hand sanitizer.
There you go.
I'm saving mine for my liver.
Orange oil then adds orange to your food container.
Right. An orange scent. Yeah. Good point.
Oh, by the way, it gets rid of stickiness mostly. The orange oil.
Okay. I was curious about that. All right. Lots of great tips. Everybody always helping everybody out here on the.
You guys are so good.
Yeah, I like that. What else did we have? Boomer 365 had Fatas. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna?
I was going to say for Boomer, I'm going to have to go look this one up.
Well, we have a research department.
Is there an episode for the archive party?
Oh yeah, that's come up before.
I know we've answered that question.
Around 150 or something, but it'll come up in a minute.
Yeah.
Usually, Land Monkey just looks at his logs or at his caches. He could go to that cache and see when it was. Yeah, but
that's the way we sorted out the date on it before. Yeah. Let's see. Let me look that up for you. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
Somebody mentioned archive party. You asked if there was going to be an archive party at the end of the Abbotsford PD events.
Yeah. And what did Skookum Bear say?
I don't know, but I think I saw flames shooting out of his ears.
All right.
He just said no.
No.
Yeah, well, while you're looking it up, IHAM asks, COVID is like doing crafts with your friends. If there are 9 of you doing crafts and one of the crafters is using glitter, how many of the crafts have glitter in them?
All of them?
Yeah.
And you'll have glitter on your hands for days.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which cache it was.
Carlos says, you know you're dating a geocacher when the meetup place is only GPS coordinates.
Monkey Puzzle Tree?
Well, I think Komakino joined us.
Hey.
Hey, Komakino.
Hello.
FYI, it's the end of the show. But hey, thanks for showing up.
Nope, wasn't that one. I can't remember which cache it was.
Yeah, I see. If I search for archive party and caching in the Northwest, I just get patron party and the block party and all the other parties.
Somebody will find it.
That's funny.
I'll have to make myself a little cheat sheet here of quick reference notes because that question comes up here.
It does come up surprisingly often, yeah.
What episode had puppets?
100.
See, people know that one.
Yeah.
Doramore knows that one.
Doramore knows it better than anyone.
Oh, Doramore, you're such a good sport. You really are.
You know what Keats 94 did? He found an earth cache in North Vancouver.
Nice.
He said xenoliths are so cool. Also found a couple traditionals today hidden by some new caches.
Very cool.
A xenolith. I don't know what that would be.
It's a non-native intruded piece of rock, I think.
Okay, I was going to say xeno is alien, basically, or outside the environment.
Foreign, yeah.
Foreign. The smart couple says, when you get a glow, how do you receive the badge? I just heard mine from March.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't get you one. You know what? Should I do it through the geocaching message center?
I think
Sure,
you
why
should
not?
do it immediately. Do it live.
Hold,
Oh,
please.
hey, you just threw it at me. Here it is.
That could have hurt. It's crazy. I cannot seem to find this.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens,
Aliens.
according to Komakino.
Okay, so
He's doing a live glowing. Be careful.
All right. I can't figure out which cache it was right now, so we'll have to rely on the research department to let us know the episode number for the archive part. And then when we find out, we're going to have to put that somewhere where we can reference it earlier or quicker.
I don't know if I'm doing this right.
What's that?
He's trying to figure out how to glow on the, glow
Ah,
on the go.
I'm trying to type in the smart couple, and I'm not getting their names properly.
all right. Have we gone through all the?
New message, and I'm not getting where I want to get there.
All except for the new piece that threw in there that you're not going to read about yourself.
Well, I just scrolled down to see that. Go ahead. You can.
Well, congratulations to the land monkeys. They reached their 20,000th milestone just last week.
We did. It was very exciting. Last Tuesday, we went out and made our 20,000th find. Our 20,000th find was on a friend's letterbox cache out in Abbotsford. So we enjoyed doing that. Enjoyed is a bit of a stretch. It's a challenging letterbox. It's intentionally made to be difficult, but in the end, the CO came out and helped us out, and we made the find. So it was fun, and it was fun to hit that big milestone.
And was it COVID that prevented you from having it in a new state, province, location,
Yes.
country? Is that
Yeah,
the first
originally
time
it was
you've had-
not going to be in British Columbia, but things change. You roll with the punches. And,
So is that the first time you've had to not do 1,000 in a new location?
Yeah, it's the first time we had to. Exactly, it's the first time that 1,000th milestone has been in a repeat location.
And you allowed that?
Well, I wasn't gonna not geocache, so the options were limited, Chris.
Okay.
Anyways, no, it's good.
Quad said he's really slowed down since he hit 10,000. I mean, there can't be many more caches to find.
Unless you go to Germany.
Well, I mean, that's the
Top
thing.
of a mountain in a pickup truck.
We know that's never going to happen.
Not immediately.
No, Americans are banned from Europe.
Oh, are they?
Right now they are, yes.
Yeah, the EU
Oh.
has.
I was gonna say everybody's banned from everywhere right now. Everybody's
Just don't travel.
yeah. Well, I mean, travel local, right?
Mhm.
That was what this episode was all about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think, guys? Good episode.
I think
find the
Donner
smart
said,
couple.
yeah, I think Donner said the P word, so we have to shut it down.
Oh dear. Yeah. I refuse to talk about that on this show.
Agreed. But hey, while Chris is still looking for how to send out a glow badge, let's just say, well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. It's always enjoyable. Great time in the chat. It's just been great. It's always great to see you guys interact with each other, and we love hearing from you.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody in the live chat tonight for all the fun.
And folks, until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.